Hey, Andy here from builderhottub.com. In this video, we're going to talk about noisy hot tub pumps. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so if you have a noisy hot tub pump, then generally you have a problem. And if you're watching this video, you have one and you're trying to solve it. So hopefully I will give you some helpful information along the way to try and diagnose the problem and ultimately fix it, of course. Now, before I get going, please do subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you receive the notifications when my videos go live. I put them out twice a week in long form, which is this kind of a video. And I put a whole bunch of shorts out there as well. So there's loads of content out there. And this channel really focuses on DIY hot tubs, plunge pools, and that kind of thing. So, noisy hot tub pumps. The first thing that we've got to really diagnose is what kind of a noise is it making? Is it humming? Is it knocking? Is it screeching? Is it just louder than normal? All of these things mean sort of different kind of problems. So let's kind of dive in and analyze each one. So let's start with knocking. If your hot tub pump is kind of a regular knocking sound, the chances are you've got something stuck in the impeller, or there's something wrong with the impeller on the pump, whether it's being cracked, a bit's come off. It's pretty easy to check. So what you're going to do is you're going to lock off your gate valves either side of your pump, and that will just stop the water flowing into the pump itself. And then if you take off the union, which is, it's usually a big white threaded nut at the front of your hot tub, you'll actually be able to get your fingers in and see if you can feel anything around the impeller that is broken, that's come off, or something's in there. If it's debris, you can usually remove it. If it's broken, then you're going to have to remove the pump, take off the wet end at the front and replace it. It's quite easy to do if you are a competent DIYer. And it goes without saying, before you do any of that, make sure you turn off the power to your hot tub. The last thing we want is for you to lose your fingers in the impeller. If your hot tub pump has a high-pitched noise, the chances are the bearings have gone on it. And yes, it's possible to replace. However, it's quite involved. So if you've got lots of time, then go for it. If you haven't, just replace the pump. It's easier to do. So high-pitched sort of screeching noises tend to be when the internal bearings have gone, they've broken down, or they've got a flat spot on them, and they just need either replacing, or even easier is just to get a new pump. If your hot tub pump is louder than normal, or it's vibrating a lot, the chances are that you've got something lodged in the impeller. And just as I explained earlier, lock off those gate valves, make sure your power's off on your tub, open that front union and have a good fish around to see what you can find. The chances are there's something inside of that impeller. Now, is the pump just humming? So if it's just humming, the next thing to check is it actually turning? So a pump that hums and doesn't turn generally means that the startup capacitor has gone. Quick way of testing this, if it's a dual speed pump, if you move your pump to high and then the pump kicks in and turns, and then you can turn it back down to low afterwards, it might sound a bit louder, it might be a little bit lumpy when it runs, but if that is the case, then your startup capacitor has gone. And the easy way to do this is open the top of your pump, or they can be at the back on some of the pumps as well. Again, make sure that the electricity is off, and do be careful with a capacitor because they have quite a big charge and they will give you an electric shock if you discharge it across those two poles. With the startup capacitor, you're just going to want to replace it. It's not something you can repair. Really easy to get hold of. You can pick them up on Amazon and the like. Just match them like for like, size for size, and you'll find that will fix a humming pump that doesn't want to start on the tub. Now, if your pump is humming and nothing is coming out, but it's turning, then you've got an airlock. So there is a difference between, you know, a humming and a bad startup capacitor, and a humming but the pump is actually turning but there's no action on the jets. If you've got an airlock, I'm not going to dive into on this video how to fix an airlock. I do have a video, and if you just search build a hot tub airlock, you'll find it on YouTube. I'll put a link to that underneath the video as well. So if your hot tub pump is humming, it's turning, but you've got no action on your jets at all, the chances are you've got an airlock. And if you've just refilled your tub or recently refilled your tub, then that's definitely an airlock, because it's usually at that point that, that they develop. And lastly, as a little bit of a bonus, it's not really about noisy pumps, but if your pump is tripping the breaker, quite how you would have found this video if you were searching for tripping the breakers, but I don't know, I'm going to put this in there anyway. If it's tripping the breaker, then you've either got water in it. Water, electricity doesn't mix. That's generally the main cause of a breaker that trips. Or your pump might be old, it's had water in it at some point. The coil itself has rusted up and it's started to break down, and at that point it will trip the breaker as well. If it's doing that, yes, you can, you know, switch the mechanical end, but again, it's quite involved. People's time is expensive these days, so I would just replace the pump. And again, you're just going to replace like for like. But if you're tripping the breaker and it's suddenly developed, you know, check that you've not got water in the pump. If you dry it out quickly, then you'll be just fine. To do that, the best way I found of drying out pumps and air blowers is put them in the airing cupboard, leave them, you know, kind of face down so everything can drain out in that nice warm area for, you know, a couple of days. And if you do it quick enough, you can actually prevent you know, further sort of rust developing and the pump kind of breaking in the future. So I hope you found this video useful. If you have a pump that is very noisy and none of these kind of match, you know, hit me up in the comments. I'm always happy to advise wherever I can. Thanks for the watch. I appreciate the view. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next video. If you've liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video.